Astrology podcast, the first ever sports astrology podcast. You heard it here first. It's your girl, Q Ray, and I wanted to do a very special live because we have a full moon in Cancer taking place tomorrow, January the 3rd, 2026. And this is going to be the first full moon in the sign of Cancer. Please go ahead, like, subscribe, share, drop down in the description box for my website if you would like to get a personal reading with me. And let's go ahead and talk about it, shall we? So, full moon in Cancer 2026. As you can see, I do have the chart up here on the screen. I have 11:57 a.m. Okay, this is when it's taking place. Now, depending on where you are in the world, adjust that. All right. So as you can see, the moon in Cancer will be at 13 degrees and the sun will be in Cancer at 13 degrees. And we'll also have later on in this same day a conjunction with Jupiter and the moon in Cancer. And I want to talk a little bit about this full moon because it's very, very important for the world itself. Now, what really is drawing me to do this kind of reading is that what I'm seeing is a lot of change, a lot of travel happening around this time, and impulsive travel, okay? Impulsive changes around home, family, security, and stability. Very impulsive and also very optimistic as well because of the Jupiter moon conjunction. Now, the impulsivity here is also met with a little bit of fear due to the fact that we have several planets in the sign of Capricorn at the same time of this full moon in Cancer. As you can see down at the bottom in the third house, we have Mercury, Venus, the Sun, Mars, Vesta, and Juno all in the sign of Capricorn. So if you have any planets in the cardinal signs around I want to even say 10 to 30 degrees leading up from now until like the middle of January, what's going to happen is there's going to be some squares there. There's going to be squares happening with those planets in Capricorn. So if you have planets in Libra, Aries, you're going to likely probably experience a little bit of discomfort, but don't worry too much about it. It will pass. But definitely this full moon in Cancer is about changing something that has to do with your home, your family, security issues, stability issues. You're changing something that you were trying to likely initiate around the new moon in Cancer. But around the new moon in Cancer, we did have a Mercury retrograde happening around that time in the sign of Leo. So you likely 6 months ago, you weren't able to make the changes that you wanted to make. There was some communication issues or maybe blockages in communication that hindered you from making these steps or taking these steps. But now, here we are 6 months later with the full moon in Cancer, the first full moon in 2026, where I see for the collective a lot of movement happening, moving house, moving for security reasons. As you can see, this configuration is the ninth house, where the moon is in the ninth house and the sun is in the third house. So this full moon in Cancer is about moving. There's a lot of impulsive moves happening right now. People moving for maybe job, family, career, whatever the case may be. It just depends on where you have Cancer and also Capricorn in your chart, okay? Because those two houses, that axes in general, will be affected with this full moon in Cancer. So this is happening tomorrow, January the 3rd, all right? Now, why is it impulsive? Well, that's because of the degree of the moon, okay, where this is taking place. And that's a very impulsive type of energy that we're dealing with, where people may be moving across country, maybe just moving to another city, state, maybe moving across the country that you currently live in, kind of thing. And there's a sense of optimism there because of the Jupiter moon conjunction, like a sense of like, this could actually work out. And this is what I've been trying to do since the summertime. And now I'm fully ready. I can't take it anymore. Let's go, go, go. All right. Now, the fear is coming in, or the delay might come in via the Capricorn energy. So there's a stellium in Capricorn, and depending on where you have Capricorn in your chart, the house that it rules, this is where there could be fear because you don't have enough of that house, right? So it could be like in this instance, in this chart, we see third house, ninth house. So a person, or I should say the collective, right? Because this is a collective readings, collective chart. What's happening is the third house is about education, research, social media, and the ninth house is about foreign cultures, foreign lands, foreign long distance travel. Third house is more like, short distance travel, your local neighborhood kind of thing. So in this chart, it's looking like to me that the collective wants to, you know, expand their horizons right now, really move out of where they're currently living, move homes, it could be anything. And the stalling point is this third house, like, oh, it might be too hard. So let me third house stick to my comfort zone. Let me stick to my local neighborhood because Capricorn is Saturn ruled. So this is where the feelings of fear and needing or thinking that you want to delay something because you don't have the um, third house, maybe research, or you haven't read enough about where you're going exactly. And so for the collective, maybe not having enough information about where you're going, needing to kind of do more research. This is where that, for this particular chart, for the collective, where that could be taking place. Okay. There's huge dreams of grandeur with the moon Jupiter conjunction that will be happening later on in the day, January 3rd, where there will be a sense of optimism. And there's going to be some people who take the leap of faith, right? Ninth house, the Cancer energy. And there's going to be half of people who are going to stick to what they know, stick to their local environment, as you can see with the stellium in Capricorn. Okay. Now you decide which side of the coin you're on. There's going to be, it just depends on, again, like I said, where Capricorn is in your chart and where Cancer is in your chart. Okay. Now, when it comes to your rising sign, you would have to determine that. So rising sign, this is how you determine where the Cancer full moon will land for you. And like I said, check out the description box. Check out my website. We do have pay where you can readings, and you can book a reading with me. And we can take a look at that one question you have, like how is the full moon in Cancer going to affect you? And so another thing too about this configuration, this is going to be an energy that is going to be, we're really going to be feeling this for Saturday and Sunday. Okay. There could be some hiccups. All right. So depending on your natal chart, there could be some hiccups, and definitely you want to just make sure that you are, I would say taking the leap of faith. Okay. Wherever the Cancer moon is for you in your natal chart, this is what you should be focused on and moving toward to balance yourself out. Okay. And a lot of that is to do with traveling. Okay. A lot of people are going to be traveling, moving. It is the first of the month. So, I mean, that is obvious, but I really feel like it's going to be very drastic movement going on now and for the next 2 weeks. That could be met with a little turbulence because of the stellium in Capricorn. There could be delays, just a lot of like hiccups as well with this energy. Hiccups like moving to another place and you don't speak the language or you don't know anybody there. And that could be the third house energy, right? Third house, as you can see, the stellium in the third house in Capricorn. This is what I'm talking about, where people in your neighborhood or your neighbors or your cousins or whatever the case may be, you might feel them energetically wanting you to stay or asking you where you're going. You don't know a lot of people. Stay, third house in your local environment where you have safety, security, and stability. And see, with the moon opposing the third house like this for the collective, there is a push and pull energy where you want to be free of your local environment and branch out on your own, and Jupiter's in Cancer, and so you want to have faith that you will be okay when you go to wherever it is that you want to go. But the opposition will play out. As you can see, it's like, you know, half people being afraid and some people not being afraid, and just kind of, you know, just taking that leap of faith, because that's the energy of this full moon in Cancer. Okay, closing something out that you've been trying to close out 6 months ago. There could also be relationship issues as well with family that you're closing out. Maybe you are seeing certain things. I want to say also too that family could be a little bit restrictive right now, and that's also making some people want to ninth house explore and travel at this time. There could be things like that coming up where you want to just reroute your life, or if you have kids, reroute your family, because the local environment could be causing some issues. There could be stagnancy in the local environment with all that Capricorn energy there. There could be just a lot of delays happening, and you're like, if I move, I feel like I won't have any delays and I will be able to see what could really come of this. Um, and I do astrocartography readings as well. That's one of my most popular services. So if you are someone that's looking to move right now, reach out to me. That link is in the description of this video. And so, yeah, it is a push and pull kind of energy right now where wherever you have, Capricorn, there's a restriction there, with the stellium there, where things are moving slow. You're not seeing the results. You're not seeing things come into fruition. But I want to remind you that things will get better from January 22nd moving onward, particularly when we get into Aquarius season. Okay. But it's just a little, you might have some hiccups here, which could make you want to stay in the third house local environment and rely on family, those kinds of things. But I would say, because the moon, right, is in the ninth house, it is a time for expansion for the collective. It is a time to be a little bit more optimistic. We do have the North Node in Pisces. Be a little bit more optimistic and have faith. That's Jupiter energy as well. Have faith that you can take the steps that you need to take, that you're guided to take. There's a lot of people that are just like stepping out, just doing it, and, you know, understanding too that it might not work out. It might not work out, but that's okay as long as you are exploring, because that's what this energy, the full moon in Cancer, wants you to do. It wants you to make a pivot, right? Make a pivot, and it's about exploring and maybe education, going back to school, or learning a new trade, learning a new skill, right? Maybe um, just expanding your horizons in some way. Okay, so just be mindful of the stagnancy, the hesitation, the blockages, the mishaps. That is all that Capricorn energy playing out with the stellium there. But truly, this energy is for a lot of people. You know what? I'm going to take the leap of faith and I'm going to go do it and see what it is and see what it isn't. And I will determine whether it's good for me from there. But I'm not going to stay stuck, right, in the local environment with all that Capricorn energy there, where it's just really hard and you may not see things moving forward in the way that you want them to move forward. There could be also, like I said, issues with family, neighbors, those kinds of things, where things are getting a lot harsher. And just overall in general, I do feel like with this full moon, there's going to be a lot of like unhappy people. So just be mindful of that. People coming into the year kind of like disgruntled. Um, I also saw in like the chart for the world, there's going to be a T square with Aries, with Chiron in Aries and Jupiter in Cancer, and that's going to be playing out for a couple days, more towards mid-January. So that's something that everyone in the collective should look out for, where, this is around tax time, and, things just not probably going well for certain people. It just depends on your natal chart, of course. And if you definitely have a lot of planets in the cardinal signs, look out, because you may really get it the worst I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything because you're going to be dealing with squares, okay, from the stellium in Capricorn, okay? So if you have planets in Libra, okay, planets in Aries, of course, as well, just be on the lookout for that. But it's not all doom and gloom. It's just going to make you a lot stronger and prepared if anything else pops up like that moving on into your future. So that's it, y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to this special full moon in Cancer 2026 reading. Again, my name is Q Lorraine, and check out in the description my website and reach out to me if you need an astrophotography reading. Maybe you're looking to move, relocate, because that energy is very prominent right now. Maybe you're not looking to do it right away, but you want to kind of look into it and see if the place that you selected is right for you. I will look at your astrophotography, your relocated chart, and your transits to determine what's the best move for you.